Well, happy Saturday, folks. It's the real Captain Kirk here. It's 24th of June, 2023, here live from One Bethlehem Plaza here. Hard to believe pretty much half of 2023 is over. Not sure you saw this crazy video here of a lightning striking a Louisiana oil refinery plant here, and watch what happens next. So cameras caught it, caught on fire, and boom, blows off the top of this oil refinery. So lots of severe weather in the south. We've had an uptick in tornadic activity, but again, this was pretty impressive to see this again. So pretty big explosion just from a quick lightning strike. If we do look at tornadic activity here, uptick here, we're about 3% above average now, 3% more than last year, most in 4 years. So across the south, Texas, into the southeast. Again, very active and even deadly tornadoes. So again, this trend may get a little bit of a lull here this week across the south, but then pick up again as we get into July. Look at the last week world summer here, week ending here today, 24 June. Here in the U.S., cold, 2.3 colder than last year, coldest in 19 years. So cool end to June for sure. Fifth coolest in 38 years, so much below average national temperatures. 95% wetter than last year, haven't said that in a long time. 16th wettest in 38 years, above average rainfall. Certainly needed that. Across Canada, coolest in 6 years. UK was the warm spot, warmest in 3. Europe actually the coolest in 5, still above average. Russia, very, very cold. Number one coldest in over 38 years. Maps inset left are the precip and temp trends versus average. This big map are the trends versus last year, how our big retail customers would look at the weather. Crazy active start to the hurricane season here. We got 2 systems that came off Africa. Very unusual to have that happen in June. More likely it should be in August, September timeframe, but also very unusual to have it happen in an El Nino cycle. So again, normally these get sheared apart, and these will get sheared here as they get closer. But again, fish storms. Got Bret and Cindy. Cindy's going to make a right turn and head out into the Atlantic. So real no threat to any major land areas here with these 2 systems. But again, the fast, only about 5 of these this far out over the last 150 plus years. So very unusual to have 2 storms out there this early in the season. This week here before the 4th of July, Independence Day, again, a little bit cooler, again, 0.1 warmer than last year, 14th warmest in 38 years, but still cool in the west, Midwest, and the East Coast. So pretty much where the high population areas are. Again, a weak demand for things you and I buy, air conditioners, cold beverages. Again, been pretty soft for retail sales here. We'll look at the trends here, May, June, July, but much, much cooler than last year. Rainfall down about 22% drier than last year, driest in 12 years, 4th driest in 38 years, but much needed rainfall, getting some heavy rain moving through northwest Iowa and the drought-plagued areas of the Midwest. So they'll take it, in fact, this week here. Some of that heavier rain, 1.5 inches of rain, even into north central Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Corn Belt here, where it's been very, very dry. We're getting much improved conditions here in the east. Again, we were about 6-7 weeks of no rain here at Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, but our headquarters. But total still change here. We're getting 2, 3, 4 inches of rain, so it's definitely a wetter cycle, and the drought threat in our area here, at least the East Coast, is diminished greatly. If we look at these year-over-year trends here for the U.S., so these bars show the trends versus last year. So blue's much colder, red's much hotter. Again, few periods of warmer conditions than last year, but this June, coolest in 19 years. Looks how it's going to end up here. So that's a very, very cool June. Very soft for summer seasonal items like air conditioners, sun care, apparel, things, pool chemicals, things that we would buy in normally hot weather that would drive these sales. So not a great start to summer here for sure. July doesn't look to be much better either. Last year was the hottest in 10 years, so a very, very hot July, good for summer seasonal items. This year looks to be the coolest in 8 years. So a little bit of an uptick here this week, maybe just again hair warmer, but then cooler trends as we go through the month of July. We look at next week here, again, the week of Independence Day. It's, midweek here, but 1.3 cooler than last year, coolest in 8 years, 15th warmest in 38 years, so still above average national temperatures, but again, trends versus last year show it, again, cooler in the south central there and even into the east and upper the Midwest, so not scorching heat, really, unless you're maybe up there, warm up there in the Pacific Northwest where it's been a hot spring for sure. While 41% drier than last year, driest in 5, 5th driest in 38 nationally, we're still getting some of that much-needed rain across the plains, again, the parched areas of the plains. So, again, good news there, and again, across the Corn Belt. So, again, much-needed rain, clearly a sign of the pattern shift here, again, more typical of an emerging El Nino. Again, typically, emerging El Ninos give us about an 83% plus chance of a wetter year, and it looks like that pattern is starting to materialize here as we get into July. We just look at these world 2-week outlook trends here through the 8th of July. Again, hard to believe getting into the second half of 2023 here, but still generally cool trends for the Midwest, East Coast, more average to cool. Hot spots there in Texas, but even this here next week, Texas will cool off a bit as well. Precip trends are inset left. So with that, folks, we hope you have a great weekend here. Again, soggy here outside our headquarters here, but we'll take it. We need it. Hope you have a great week and great Independence Day, and we will talk to you soon.